morning to you. Thanks for joining us on News Breakfast.
Good to be with you, Michael.
It's great to have you on the show again. So we do know JD Vance is a strong opponent of further US aid to Ukraine, a view echoed by Donald Trump, of course. So can we assume if there is a second Trump presidency, Ukraine will essentially be sacrificed if the war is going on still?
Well, good to be with you, Michael. I don't think that's the way I would put it. And I mean, I think, President Trump has said a couple of things that we know. Obviously, he's the top of the ticket, and Senator Vance is very aligned with him. I think he said in his Truth Social post a couple months ago that the Europeans need to take the bulk of the security responsibility for supporting Ukraine. He's obviously expressed, and I think it makes a lot of sense, an attempt to broker peace in Ukraine. But I think the right way to think about this is I think the direction of travel is very clear, and I do think that, talking to a number of European politicians here, as well as from other parts of the world, including your part of the world, I think the real key here, and if you look at the platform, which President Trump had a personal hand in formulating, it's not isolationism at all. That's not it at all. It's a common sense foreign policy, putting Americans' interests first. Strong alliances are part of that. But the direction of travel is clear. They've got to be more equitable. We need more skin in the game from our allies. We're going to look to help those allies, I think, who help themselves. Let me stress, I don't speak for President Trump or his campaign. But I think you can see that and you can infer it. And I think in the case of Ukraine, what's sort of striking here is I think if the Europeans are saying it's an existential threat, yet we're seeing the German government not fully funding Ukraine going into next year and so forth. So I think this has really got to be a wake-up call here, as Senator Vance put it at the Munich Security Conference, for allies to do more of their part.
OK, I want to talk more about our region, China, based on what you know of Donald Trump and, in this case, JD Vance's position on China and Taiwan. How much more focus, if any, would a second Trump administration put on China? Because we do know President Xi has labelled 2027 as the deadline for his move to, as he puts it, liberate Taiwan.
Well, look, I think, just speaking for myself, I think we have to be prepared for the Chinese to make a move in the Western Pacific in the coming years. Nobody knows what they're going to do, but we do know that they're preparing for a large-scale confrontation, and the Biden administration Secretary of the Air Force has been clear about that. I think Senator Vance has been a very particularly articulate spokesman of the need for us to, as he said to Sean Hannity the other night after the vice presidential pick, that we've been distracted in Europe. That's one of the reasons behind his important points on Ukraine, and focus more on Asia. President Trump, we know under his administration, he was the one who really initiated the shift that in some ways has been a sort of pale reflection under the Biden administration continued. But the shift towards a tougher line on China, reflecting the reality of China's scale, its strength, and its behavior. President Trump spoke to Bloomberg. It was released today, his views on Taiwan. I would say kind of maintaining the traditional position of strategic ambiguity that the United States at the political level has taken. I think the real message here to friends in Taiwan is one that I've been trying to reinforce to them for a number of years. I said directly to the president of Taiwan when I was there this spring, you have to do your part. You have to arm yourselves up. You have to make it viable for the American people to help you help yourselves, because one of the things that came across in the platform is, yes, peace through strength, yes, restoring our military, yes, reindustrializing our defense industrial base, but also using our military more sparingly. And I think, I certainly don't want a World War III with China. We can't allow them to compromise our own interests or that of our key partners like Australia. But it's going to, we're really going to need our allies to do their part. That's a clear message here.
Interesting message for the region. Elbridge Colby, appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.